Oh, hello, hello, hello. Hey, Margie. Hello, all. Today I'm going to be talking about shifting out of victimization. I'm Charmaine. I am a spiritual life coach and light worker. And I just wanted to pop on here to assist people with what I know they are struggling with and dealing with because I too have struggled with and dealt with that. So today's topic is shifting out of the victim mentality, shifting out of victimization, especially when you feel like you are the victim of something or you have been victimized. Especially when you feel like you didn't have a fair footing from the start. Like my parents did this or my mom didn't do this, my dad wasn't there, etc., etc. How do you shift out of victimization so that you can create the reality that you actually want to live and not keep repeating the life that was given to you, the life that was programmed within you? How do you move past that? How do you reprogram yourself, your mindset, so that you are no longer feeling victimized and you're no longer feeling like life is happening to you, but that you are actively creating and that life is happening for you? So let's talk about shifting from the mentality that your parents didn't do A, B, and C, and that's why I'm like this. First of all, the moment you say, well, I'm like this because my mama didn't do this or my daddy didn't do that, you are telling the universe and you are telling yourself that you do not have control of your reality. You're telling yourself that you are not the creator or the co-creator of your reality, but that your parents are still creating your reality today. Even though what they showed you as a child, what they instilled within you as a child, you did not like, you did not resonate with, you're still stuck in the cycle. You're stuck in that same cycle because you have not consciously chosen to break free from that, basically that mental prison. So something that is very freeing and something that is very empowering is when empowering. I don't know why I struggle with that word. But something that is very freeing and something that is very empowering is when you accept your parents. And that's where a lot of us struggle. A lot of us are still holding our parents hostage to things that they have done to us, things that they did according to what they accepted as truth, right? Once we understand that everybody here, there's no good or bad, there's no right or wrong. Everyone can only act according to the information that they have received and accepted as truth. There's no other way for them to be. So your parents did the best that they could with what they had, with the information that they had, with how they were raised. If they never saw anything differently, then that was their truth. And they passed that truth on to you, whether it was in their actions, whether it was in their words, etc., etc. We have to understand and realize that our parents were not, even if you feel like your parent was not the perfect parent, even if you feel like your parent was not the parent that you needed them to be, understand that they truly did the best that they could with what they had. Even if you feel like, personally, my mother was not in my life from the age of 6 months until now. She passed when I was 10 years old. And for the longest time, I was like, I just don't understand. How could you leave your 6-month-old child? How could you abandon your child? It took me years, decades to actually sit and understand that is what she felt was the best thing for her to do. That is what she felt was the best thing for me and my siblings. And I see that now because I stopped holding her up on this pedestal, this unrealistic pedestal. A lot of us want our parents to do for us what we are not willing to do for ourselves, what we don't even do for our own children, if I'm being frank right now. Accept people for who they are, how they are, where they are, and that will free you from allowing them to dictate how you live your life, how you create your reality. Take your power back from your parents by truly accepting your parents. Even if your parents are on some bullshit, accepting them does not mean that you are condoning their bullshit. That just means, okay, I see where you are vibrationally. I see what you have believed, you have taken on to believe as truth, and this is how you act because of that. Then you decide how you want to move forward, how you want to interact, how you want that relationship to be. But you cannot, as an adult person, say, oh, well, my life is like this because my mama did this or my daddy did this. Stop it. Take your power back from your parents. Accept your parents. They did the best that they could. Let that go. Whatever it was, let it go. And it takes conscious choice, and it takes a conscious action. A lot of people come to me and they feel like I can wave a magic wand. Thank you for liking. They feel like I can wave a magic wand to just make everything, like, you know, like the Men in Black when they just did the thing and the memory was erased. It doesn't work like that. Because true acceptance is knowing that, okay, you did X, Y, and Z, you did some messed up stuff, but I understand that that's where you are vibrationally, and I understand that that's what you felt was the best thing to do according to what you have taken on as truth, what you have accepted as truth. And then you rewrite that. Now, I want to talk about shifting out of victim mentality from your experiences that left you feeling victimized. Because it can be very triggering when someone says, well, don't act like a victim. And you're like, but I am the victim. This happened to me. This person did this to me. One thing to understand, and it came from, I think, the 4 Agreements. Never take anything personally. Never take anything personally. People do not do things because, oh, you're somebody easy to do it with. They do things because they're at a low vibration, or they're having an experience, a low vibrational experience, and that is what they feel is the best thing for them to do. It is not personal. Once you realize that you have no control over what someone else does, because we all have the gift of free will, freedom of choice. Once you realize that, thank you for liking. Once you realize that, that frees you. And it's like, oh, this person didn't intentionally hurt me, because a lot of people feel like I can't catch a break. It doesn't matter what I do, how good I am to somebody. They just always screw me over. It doesn't matter what I do. Life is just hard. My life is just hard. And a lot of people say that, and they affirm those things to themselves every day. When you are affirming those things about yourself and your reality every day, the universe is going to say, okay. The universe is always listening. It's always responding. It is always reacting to our frequency, the frequency that we give off, because we all are energetic beings. And as energetic beings, we are emitting a frequency. If your frequency is that of a victim, you will attract more opportunities and experiences to feel victimized. That is why a lot of people feel like they're stuck in a cycle. It doesn't matter who they're with. It doesn't matter what they do. They're stuck. Well, they feel stuck. They have the same experience with different people. They have the same experience in different jobs, in different locations. Have you ever saw somebody who was like, you know what? I just need a fresh start. I'm going to pick up. I'm going to move. I'm leaving states. I'm getting a new job. I'm going to find a new person. And then they still have the same experiences. That is because you cannot outrun your vibration. You can't. So the best thing to do is to raise your vibration by releasing some of those long-held beliefs that are no longer serving you. And remember, a belief is just a thought that you think over and over and over and over and over and over and over. That is why it takes some conscious action to rewrite your thought pattern. It takes conscious action to stop yourself from being self-deprecating and going, oh, well, life is just not meant for me. That can happen for everybody else. I literally had somebody tell me that if it wasn't for bad luck, they would not have any luck. Can you imagine that being the affirmation for your life, of your life? Can you just see what that opens you up to attract? Very low vibrational experiences over and over and over until you shift the way that you are looking at something. Well, I am a survivor of childhood sexual assault. And for a long time, I used that as why I couldn't move forward, like why my life had to just be so hard, why my life couldn't look like this life, this white picket fence life, right? And I sat in that for a very long time until it was brought to my attention, and I had to accept and understand that I was a vibrational match. Yes, that person was dead ass wrong. Yes, that person had the freedom of choice, and they chose to make a very low vibrational decision. I happen to be in a very low vibrational state of being to be a match for that person. And I know somebody somewhere is like, oh, that's victim blaming. That don't make no sense. And as long as you feel like that, then that's the mindset that you will be stuck in. But once I had to sit back and go, well, how the fuck did I attract that, right? I was kind of like, how the fuck? What do you mean? What do you mean I was a match for that love? I was. And that was a hard pill to swallow, because who the fuck wants to hear that? Like I said, you cannot control another person's freedom of choice. That person had freedom of choice and they chose to make that decision. I just happened to be a match for that. Which is why I say you have to raise your vibration so that you are not a match to low vibrational shit. So yeah, that is an experience that I had in my life that I let control me for entirely too long, instead of looking at it as an experience, and instead of realizing that, hey, this experience, I was a match to this experience because my vibration was so low. But that comes with taking a lot of accountability for you being the creator of your reality. And a lot of people are not ready to take accountability and responsibility for themselves being the creator of their reality. Because then they'll look around and go, ain't no way. Ain't no way I created this. Ain't no way I would have attracted this. Instead of really sitting down and doing your introspection and being honest with yourself, as hard as it can be, being honest enough with yourself to go, damn, a lot of shit around me I don't like. If you can sit back and assess your life, and there are things around you that you are unhappy with, if there are things around you that you like, I don't like this, you have control to change it. You have the power to shift that energy. But it takes a level of awareness to even know that this, a lot of us are attached to the victim mentality. I was attached to the victim mentality. That was my story. And a lot of us are still telling an old story that does not feel good to us. We're telling an old story that we don't even want to be a part of anymore, but we have taken that on as our identity. When you release that, when you decide that you don't want that to be your identity anymore, that's when you are shifting the energy to create something different for yourself. When I say a lot of us are addicted to chaos, I mean, okay, if I don't have this story to tell about myself, what story do I tell? And that's the beauty of being the creator of your own life and the creator of your own reality. That is the beauty of being the creator. You get to pick what story you want to tell. You have to get a vision, have a vision of what you do want to experience. You already know what you don't want to experience because you've already experienced it. So get a clear vision of what it is that you do want to experience. And then whatever does not align with that vision, whatever is not in resonance with that vision, consciously make a decision to cut it out. But you definitely have to release the attachment of being a victim. And I feel like a lot of people are scared. They're scared because you resonate with, a lot of people are trauma bonded. A lot of people have friends who they're friends with simply because they've experienced some of the same low vibrational stuff, right? And you don't know how to shift out of that. So there's a fear of leaving people behind. There's a fear of being lonely. If I let this go, if I decide to grow, if I give myself permission to free myself from that, if I give myself permission to build something, to build a new life for myself, what happens to the old people? I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be lonely. People say the spiritual journey is lonely all the time. The healing journey is lonely all the time. I don't want to be lonely. So then you have to decide if this is worth, if where you are now, whatever level of comfortability, thank you for sharing, Shay Shay, whatever level of comfortability you have right now, is that worth all the infinite potentials that you could have? Is it worth it? Do you freeze yourself in time right here, right now, because it's comfortable, even though it's not what you want, even though it's not where you want to be, but fear is keeping you from making a move. Fear is keeping you from putting one foot in front of the next and rewriting your narrative. You have the power, you have the ability to rewrite your narrative and to tell a new story about yourself. So right here, right now, today, decide that you are done with whatever has been. You are done telling the story of how you were victimized, how your mama didn't do this, how your daddy didn't do this, how this happened to you and that happened to you. I lost this person abused me, this person hurt me. Okay, it happened. You have to accept that it has happened because it happened. But it happened not to keep you stuck in this place. It happened not for your life to suck. It happened because you were a vibrational match to that experience, because you cannot control what another person does. But what do you want? You have complete control over your actions. You have complete control over your thoughts. You have complete control over the way that you speak about your life and your reality. So change the way that you speak about it. And it does take conscious action, because if you've been telling a story about how you're the victim and everybody did you wrong and everybody had you messed up, then that's going to be your go-to. That's like your run-to, right? That's your default programming. So right now is the time for you to override your default programming to create a completely different thing, something that looks completely new. I talk about release letters all the time. If you have been on my lives before, I hope you have taken it upon yourself to write those release letters. If to no one else, especially your mom and your dad. That is truly where a lot of the root of the issues stem from. A lot of them stem from feeling like my parents just didn't do enough. Accept it. Accept your parents and move forward. Give yourself permission to move forward. Speak about your life differently. Release that addiction to chaos. Release that addiction to being the victim, because it doesn't serve you. It holds you back. It limits you. You know how a lot of people will say, you're exactly where you need to be right here, right now. Some of you are not where you're supposed to be right here, right now. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But you're not where you're supposed to be right here, right now, simply because you refuse to take back power of your life. You refuse to take your power back. You're still playing the victim role. Whether it's at work. Well, everybody at work always, they always expect me to do it. Look at it differently. Talk about it differently. Speak about it differently. You get to wake up every day and decide. Thank you. You get to wake up every day and decide what timeline you want to be on. And every day, some of us put ourselves right back on the same timeline. We wake up worrying about the same things. We wake up stressing about the same things. We wake up talking about the same things. So what does that do? If you are a creator, a powerful creator that you are, that creates the same thing over and over and over. Have you ever seen somebody whose life, it doesn't matter how long you knew them, their life did not change? They're still doing the same thing. They're still living the same place. They're still, I'm talking about, you could time it. Nothing has changed. That is because they are stuck in that cycle. Once you bring yourself to a conscious awareness that I have to do something different, and you start making a plan, because you have to have a vision. You can't just be moving. You have to have a vision so that you can take aligned action to accomplish whatever that plan or that goal is. Once you decide that and you begin to change your reality and change your life, then that is when you can assist other people in changing their realities and changing their lives. If that's what they want, because everybody has freedom of choice. You have freedom of choice. You can get off this live right here, right now, and be like, I ain't trying to hear nothing that girl was talking about. That's fine. That is perfectly fine, because that is your choice. But where is that going to get you? That's going to get you what you have already been getting. And if you're okay with that, beautiful. But if you're not okay with that, and you know that something needs to change, something needs to shift, then I would truly suggest you first writing those release letters to your parents. If your parents are still alive, reach out to them. Contact them. Contact them and let them know that you love them. Let them know that you appreciate them and all the gifts that they have given you. Let them know that you apologize for not always accepting them as they are. I know somebody just said, I ain't doing all that. I'm not finna call my mom and apologize for nothing, because I ain't never did nothing to her. That's okay. You don't have to. But you will continue to get what you have been getting until you do something differently. And it starts there. All right. So, that's really all I got for today. I do want to let you guys know about my Sacred Soul Circle. It's kind of like this, but it is bi-weekly. We will do Reiki healing. I'm a Reiki master. If anybody's interested in becoming a Reiki practitioner, I certify in that as well. But the Sacred Soul Circle is a community for like-minded spiritual individuals to come together, especially those who are on a journey and they feel like they have no one physically around them to kind of go through these things with, or you have questions and you don't really know, what information out there is true. You're not really resonating with, whatever you see going on out here. It is to come together and have a safe space to ask your questions. I am a certified spiritual life coach. You have full access to me for Q&A time. Like I said, we will do Reiki healing. And we'll just vibe out, honestly. Oh, you also get access to my video vault, which is like a collection of different spiritual teachings. I have one about magic, I have one about releasing the past, and I am also going to create some more in there to give you added value. My information is linked in my bio. Also, if you would like a reading with me, feel free to book that. I do not do the email readings anymore because yeah, I just need you to kind of tap in with the reading during the session so you actually pick your own cards. But that's something that I offer as well. I'll be back on here to do more. I need to learn how to manifest. Where should I begin? Ooh, that's a great question. I love a good question, y'all. Drop a question if you have one. So, Sharon, I just want to let you know that you do not need to learn how to manifest. You are already a master manifester. You have manifested everything in your life up until this point. What you want to do is to learn how to intentionally manifest. So I would look at my life, take a look around, see what works, see what doesn't work, and then create a plan to shift into what you want. First, create a vision of what it is that you're trying to manifest, and then create a plan of how you're going to get that, what steps you're going to take to get that. And then intentionally get up and follow those steps. There are ways to kind of harness the magic of like the moon. You can work with elements and different things like that, but you're already a master manifester, for you are creator. Just remember that you are a creator and you are powerful. Focus on being more intentional with the things that you are doing. You're welcome. Focus on being more intentional. So that would be something to journal about. How can I be more intentional with what I wanted to create? If anybody else has any more questions, drop them down. I love it. Or if you have any ideas that you would want for me to come on and talk about, like spiritual topics that you have a question about and you just want to get some clarity on. Brichelle, hello, does my ex-husband miss me? Oh. So when it comes to things like that, y'all, everybody is gifted with an intuition. Not everyone likes to listen to that intuition. Not everyone trusts their own intuition. Brichelle, I would suggest you schedule an intuitive card reading. I have a 15-minute session and a 30-minute session. Pick whichever one you feel, works best for you, however much time you need. But we have to get better about using our discernment, and I'm not picking on Brichelle. I'm just saying this is for anybody. Especially if you go like to different people's rooms and you like get messages from people, from this person and that person. There have been people that I've had sessions with, intuitive sessions with, and they'll go, well, this person told me this and somebody else told me something else and this person told me this. All the while, they never stopped to check in with their own intuition. They never stopped to assess the situation, not for what they want it to be, but for what it is truly presenting itself as. So something that a lot of people will not, I'm not gonna say they won't resonate with, but what I will say, a lot of things, and this is kind of piggybacking off of you, Rochelle. A lot of things that people don't understand. Women are the leaders in relationships. If your relationship is not going right, hey Mecca, if your relationship is not going right, then as the leader of the relationship, sit back and see how you are leading. Assess how you are leading. Is this conducive? Is this healthy? Does it feel right? Is the intimacy there? Are you happy? Are they happy? If not, then it is time to address the things in that relationship. It is time to shift some things in that relationship. And as the leader, women, we do not have to go and say, I'm the leader in this relationship. It's not like that, because you're the leader, but he's the head. It's a co-creative process. It's a cohesive togetherness that happens in a healthy relationship. And that's for anybody out here in a relationship and they are questioning, but what's going on, XYZ, ABC? I would definitely suggest life coaching, spiritual coaching. I do enjoy doing the intuitive readings, but spiritual coaching is a passion of mine, honestly and truly, because it not only helps you to raise your vibration, but it empowers you to continuously create a life that you love, and it empowers you to be the creator of your. Thank you, Mecca. Oh, thank you. Hello. How do I wake up in a different timeline? Okay, so when people say this, or even when people hear this, they may think, what do you mean? This is the same house, this is the same bed, this is the same room, right? They'll feel like that. But it's all done on a subconscious level. It's about kind of embodying and feeling into. There is a little tiny level of delusion that has to be there. Or you're just going to wake up and you're going to keep staying in the same cycle. First, know where you want to be. Know what timeline you're trying to be on. What does this version of you look like in this timeline? I woke up on a different timeline yesterday, right? I said that I was gonna wake up on a millionaire's timeline. Now that doesn't mean that when I looked at my bank account it was $1 million in there, but what that does mean that as I was driving my car down the street, I was driving my dream car. I wasn't really in my dream car, but I was driving my dream car. I felt like my future self. I tell myself, I'm that girl. Me and my daughter say that. I'm that girl. You're that girl. So I was telling myself, I'm that girl. And it's like you put out that energy because you are an energetic being. You shift yourself instantly into that frequency by not looking at whatever reality you have created for yourself, but subconsciously and mentally shifting yourself into the energy of where you want to be. Walking around with your Coach purse acting like it's a Chanel if that's your flavor. Feeling like it's a Chanel if that's what you like. That's just an example, okay? But you subconsciously put yourself on that timeline. You set the intention. You're welcome. You set the intention for yourself to be on that timeline, and then you embody the energy. It's not something you can see. It's not even necessarily something that you can physically do. It's an embodiment of the energy. All right. Anybody else got any other questions? Hey, Miss Sauda girl. Hey, girl. Hey. But yeah, if y'all got any topics you would like for me to come on here and discuss, come on with it, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I'm filled with knowledge. I'm filled with knowledge, and I really want to share because people you don't have to be stuck. Life does not have to be hard. Life does not have to fucking suck. Love life does not have to look like you chasing after this person, that person. Life is here. Yes, we're supposed to have ups and downs. We're supposed to have highs and lows. For if we did not have the lows, we would not truly appreciate the highs, right? However, it's not supposed to be low, 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 low. It's not supposed to be that. And a lot of people have put themselves in that frequency, and they've gotten themselves, quote unquote, stuck in that frequency. Love your locks. I have locks for 7 years now. Thank you. I think I've been locked for 6 years. This is my 6th year. I want to understand how my birth chart. Oh, I don't know. My birth chart. I'm not a birth chart girly. I don't really do the astrology whole thing. I'm more of the damn near everything else. I don't read I don't know how to read the birth charts. You're welcome. Yeah, if it's something that I don't know, I'm not gonna make nothing up. I'm gonna tell you I don't know that. And astrology is not my thing. It's not. No, it's not. But one thing that I do, and I'm glad you brought that up, one thing that I do want you to be aware of, everybody on here, when it comes to your birth chart and when it comes to astrology and all of those things are very helpful. You have a question? Okay. Give me a question, Miss Alda. Those things are very helpful. Those things can definitely give you more insight to yourself. But I also want you to know that you can raise your vibration to a place where, how they say, oh, cancers are sensitive, cancers are this, cancers are that. If you are taking care of yourself as a fourfold being and you've raised your vibration and you are living your highest timeline, you're going to feel like don't none of that even apply to you. That is not to downplay astrology. Like I said, I feel like it is a very useful and helpful thing, especially when you are on a journey trying to learn more about your personal development and yourself and the actions and the things that you should do and take. I feel like that's a great place to start. However, you can raise your vibration to the point where that shit it don't feel like it applies to you. Because really what that birth chart is a snapshot. It's a snapshot of how the whole universe aligned when you made your entrance into this world, when you incarnated into this encasement, into this incarnation. And according to this snapshot, these are X, Y, and Z is what should flow, or how things are supposed to go, or this is why you're like this, etc., etc. If you do your personal development, if you just fucking take care of your fourfold being, you look at that birth chart and be like, okay, I used to do that because I did mine on, I think, Astro Cafe or something like that. And when I first did it years ago, I was like, wow, this is so insightful. I get this. And when I looked at it more recently, I was like, oh, I did used to do that. I used to do that. I used to be like that. It's all about developing your personal development, your spiritual growth and development. Once you get into a point where you are remembering who and what you truly are, source. Ooh, Miss Sauter, that's a girl. That's a good one. Okay. Once you get into thank you, my daughter did it. Yesterday was take your parent to school day, and she did it in her cosmetology class. But once you shift into that energy, yeah, you can kind of, I don't want to say outgrow it, but move past it. Okay, so Miss Sauter says, what would you recommend to reconnect with? You know I was going to come with a good question. Look, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, what would you recommend to connect with ancestors and or the spirit team? Love it. Okay, so when it comes to connecting with your spirit team, let's just say that. First of all, there is literally, I'm going to show you how easily it is to connect with your spirit team right now. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? We all have thousands and thousands of high angelic angels who are assigned to us. We have angels who are assigned to us, and then we have higher vibrational angels, higher realm angels, who we can call on for assistance if your vibration is at a certain level. Everybody has high angelic, but not everyone has access to the higher angelic realm, if that makes sense, according to your vibration. If your vibration is high, then you have access to it all. If your vibration is not as high as it could be, you still have access to high angelic, and this is how you work with them. You simply say, "Hi angelic, assist me with ABC." There is no ritual included. There is no ritual required. There is no sacrifice required. There is none of that. They are always around you. They are always with you. We are the same. The only difference is we chose to have a physical body in this incarnation, and they are non-physical beings. Higher vibrational non-physical beings. But yeah, that's it. You just literally speak to them out loud. Use your voice to activate a conversation with them. And then sit in the energy of receivership so that you can receive the downloads that they are giving you. But if you ask, they will answer. They will assist you. that's their only job. They're sitting there watching you work harder than you have to. Like, when is girl gonna call on us? Because they won't interfere with your freedom of choice. They won't interfere with your free will because they cannot. Because that is low vibrational and they are high vibrational beings. Just start a conversation with them every day. Every day. Cultivate that relationship and conversation with them. They already know you. Some of them have been with you since birth, from the womb to the tomb. And will be with you until you pass. Now, as far as the ancestors, y'all sit down. Hold on to your wigs. And don't shoot the messenger. Okay? Now, when you work with your ancestors, you want to call on the ascended ancestors. There are some people on here, and I have seen them, and I have watched their lives, and I have just listened to the misinformation that is being spread. But I do not feel like it is misinformation that is being maliciously spread intentionally. I feel like a lot of people are under the influence of lower angelic, lower vibrations, and they don't realize it. The same way that I said we have high angelic assigned to us, we have 7 low angelic assigned to us as well. Well, why the fuck with the universe? Why the fuck with source? Why the fuck with source? Hold on, honey. Why the fuck with source assign us 7 low angelic? Because the human experience was made to be like this, baby. It was made to be like this. They play a role. They play a part. If there were no troubles, if there were no low vibrational things to overcome, how the fuck would we grow, y'all? You don't grow and everything is just perfect. You grow from having experiences that you decide, oh, I don't like that. Oh no, baby, they could never do that to me again. That's how you grow. Everybody has a role to play. And the low angelic play their role too. However, the low angelic, if you are not at a high vibration, will fuck your life up. A lot of people who claim that they are having conversations with their ancestors, or my ancestors about to fuck y'all up. My ancestors don't play about me. What ancestors you talking about, baby? Those aren't your ancestors, because when we pass, we have 2 choices. We either reincarnate or we merge back to be with source. Now, if you have accepted and treated everything and everyone as equal, then you ascend when you pass, when you cross over. That is when you ascend, truly, to be back with source, to merge back with source. That group of your ancestors who ascended, who accepted everything and everyone as equal and treated everything and everyone as equal, they did merge back with source, and you can call on them for assistance because they ascended, which is why I would say call on your ascended ancestors. If there is a spirit or something that feels like, that you feel like, oh, I need some money, I'm gonna create this ancestor altar and I'm gonna feed my ancestors. I'm gonna put food on my ancestors' altar. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Thank you, Miss Sauda. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that for my ancestors so they can bless me. No, you're not. You're wasting your money. You're wasting your food. Your ancestors do not need gifts. They do not need an altar. They do not need food to assist you. For they are ascended, meaning they already are at a vibration to assist you without you needing to do anything except for calling on them. Because they too will not interfere with your free will because you have freedom of choice. So to work with your ascended ancestors, you simply ask for their assistance. The ascended, and you don't need to know a name. Thank you. The ascended ancestors, like a lot of people say, well, I'm working with my grandma right now. I'm working with this person right now. The ascended ancestors, once they ascend and merge back with source, they come together collectively as a group. Thank you, Miss Sauda. They come together, they merge together collectively as a group for you to call on as the ancestors, the ascended ancestors. But please do not be fooled into thinking that these people are conjuring up that these people are conjuring up anything, or that you have to pay them and they have to pay the spirits and the spirits have to give you permission. That's not how any of this works. They have been misinformed and they have accepted that as truth, and then they teach that misinformation. So it's kind of a perpetual thing fueled by the lower angelic. People will say, I've heard somebody, I wanted to work with this lady once. Somebody recommended me to her. And I was going to stop working with the person who recommended me to her because I noticed that her vibration had shifted into more of the darker side. So I reached out to her and I was just, trying to see how I felt about it. They were like, you should work with this person. Instead of me just going to sign up, I was like, I'm going to go out there, physically be in her energy to see how I feel around this person. When she was like, some people I can't work with because they're too love and light, I was like, ooh, that was a red flag for me. If you are working with somebody and they do not speak of love and light, but they speak of fucking this person up or getting your lick back or putting somebody in a shoe or, all that old shit. If they speak of that, I would suggest you run. Don't walk. Hightail it. Double time. Skedaddle. Because that person is being manipulated by lower angelics. If you have a question, please feel free to drop it. But yeah, that person is being manipulated by lower angelics, and you too will be manipulated by lower angelic. And then they'll go, well, no, it's true. You see the water, the ancestors, they drunk the water. No, that cup has been on your altar for a week. The water evaporated. That's mold. It's really about understanding that you have the gift of discernment and using that gift of discernment. Not being, whatever I tell you, please, don't take my word for it. Go research it for yourself. Feel into what feels right to you. Feel into what feels good to you. Don't take my word for anything. Did I make a mistake yesterday? What are we talking about? Osiris, what happened yesterday? Yes, research everything. Research everything. You have a very powerful mind, a very powerful brain. Research this stuff. A lot of this stuff, y'all gotta ask, does this even make sense? I'm putting money on the altar for my ancestors to bless me with more money. You done put the money on the altar. You had a little money. You had a little chang-a-lang. Source does not need a sacrifice. Your angels don't need a sacrifice. And your ascended ancestors do not need a sacrifice. They don't. And when people say like, oh yeah, I got your grandma right here, like mediums and whatnot, they are receiving insight. They are receiving messages of soul fragments from your ancestors, because every soul leaves an imprint. So those are soul fragments that are out and that they could be picking up on. But your ancestors, they either merge back with source to become an ascended ancestor to assist you from the spirit realm, or they're back. They're back somewhere in somebody else's family. Could be in your own family. Look at the babies that are being born. They've reincarnated. Let's just say I took a step backwards in love. All right, so you took a mistake. You took a misstep. You took a step backwards. What do you feel was the right thing to do? Is the right thing to do moving forward? Let us normalize trusting ourselves. Let us normalize trusting our intuition. Let's normalize it. Let's normalize it. You already know that you made a mistake. You get it? Okay. You already know you made a mistake. Now the question is, how do you move forward? How do you move forward from that? Y'all, my head has been hurting something serious lately. The past few days. I don't know if it has something to do with the eclipse thing. You can. We should talk privately. There's always a way to move forward. You are not a tree. You are not stuck. There's always a way to move forward. Yes, you can. You just have to kind of detach your emotions. It's hard to detach your emotions when you are in a situation, but it is truly a gift once you can do that, because you're able to see the bigger perspective of everything. What lesson was that to teach you? What did you learn from it? If you learned one thing from it, you can move forward. If you haven't learned anything from it, do not proceed, for you will create the same experience. You will create the same experience. But yeah, as far as working with the high angelic, working with, do I know how long it takes to reincarnate back on Earth estimated? You know, so you know how they say we choose to be here? At first I was like, you lied. I ain't choose to be here. But you know how they say we choose to be here, right? That is very true. And it's different. There's no specific amount of time. It's really based on you, because you have the choice of, okay, so I said there were two options. You either reincarnate or you, baddie, you should book a session. You either reincarnate or you merge back with source, right? The way to get off this floating rock, y'all, accept everything and everyone as equal and treat them as such, okay? But I said there were two ways. You either merge back with source or you reincarnate. So before you reincarnate, there are different planes that you can go to. That's what it is. Different planes that you can go to, right? Say you just want to be surrounded and engulfed in beauty. Then you can go and spend time on or in the Andromeda plane, right? Say there are other things that you say, hey, wait a minute, I got an idea what we should do down there before I go back. You can go to the Conceptus plane. I think I said that right, Conceptus plane. So there are different levels, different, I'll call them rest areas that you can visit before you come back to Earth. So there's no like timeline specific to everybody. There's no cookie cutter timeline. It's based on what your soul wants to experience. But you coming back. But you are coming back. And you know what? Something that you may find very interesting. And I've seen this twice in the past, maybe week or two. Well, it's been shared with me in the past, maybe week or two. Sometimes our parents will come back as our children. Sometimes they'll come back as our pets. Sometimes they'll come back as, yeah, and you get to reparent your parent. I just feel like that is the coolest thing ever. Thank you so much. It's true. I feel like that is just the coolest thing ever. You get to reparent your parent, even if they decide to come back as a plant. Hey, Tessa. You said hopefully wealthy. You know what? You can be wealthy in this lifetime. You can be wealthy in this lifetime. I have a book that will assist you with kind of shifting into a wealth mindset too. The things that you'll read in this book, some of them you'll be like, what the hell does this have to do? That was my confirmation. I'm glad, Miss Sauda. Some of this stuff in this book, you probably look at it and be like, what the hell does that have to do with getting money? But it has a lot to do with it. This is called Spiritual Manifestation, and it's by Elliot Eli Jackson. There are steps in here. This is literally, these are, look what it says. Source gives the spiritual keys and steps to success. Are you going to follow them? Are you going to do the stuff? That's the hiccup. None of this stuff is a secret. You know, they came out with the movie and the book, The Secret. None of that was supposed to be no secret to nobody. None of this stuff is a secret, which is why I will share books. I will share information. It's not a secret. Are you going to put it into practice? Are you going to put it into use? Are you going to receive and accept it as truth? Yes, it's on Amazon. Also, if you are going on there, I would definitely suggest this one as well. From God to You, the Absolute Truth. The first one was Spiritual Manifestation. It's by Elliot Eli Jackson. The second one is From God to You, Absolute Truth. You have chills, Miss Sauda. Tell me about the chills. This is by Elliot Eli Jackson. Elliot Eli Jackson is my spiritual mentor. He is also a pure source channel, which means that he channels source at its highest apex. If you have ever had a session with source through Elliot, then you already know. And if you have not, I would suggest you do that. Everything in these books is channeled from source. This information, the program that I teach, that I had to go through, literally changed my reality. It put me back in the creatorship of my reality. What's his info? I want to say visit quantummatrix.com. Quantum Matrix. I have been saying for 19 years that someone in my close family was my mom. Oh, wow. Do you intuitively feel like you know who it is? The first book is Spiritual Manifestation. That passed 19 years ago. Oh, yeah, she back. She's back. It don't take that long. She's back. Yeah, she's back. Well, I ain't even gonna say it don't take that long, but she back. My stomach is turning. Oh, wow. So you got that confirmation. So you got physical sensations of confirmation. That is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. You should ask the high angelic to assist you with figuring out who it is. If you feel like you already intuitively know, good. But if not, ask the high angelic to assist you with figuring out who it is. Y'all, when I say, oh, you know, ooh, good. Oh, my crown is tingling right now. And look. Magic is happening, y'all. But yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So just make sure. So, and when you come back, when we reincarnate, because I know a lot of people are like, how do I get out of this cycle? How do I stop it? Good morning, Mimi. When you reincarnate, there are things for you to kind of, I don't want to say get right, but kind of get right this lifetime. There are people or circumstances or things that you have not accepted, you did not accept, and you did not treat as equal in your past life. So now you have to come back and experience that all over again. And you'll notice that that'll be a major theme. Whatever it is that you did not accept, it'll be a major theme in your reality. Like, for instance, let's talk about racist people. Let's talk about racist people. Or we can even talk about sexist people. People who don't see men and women as equal. Some women see men above them as being superior to them. And some men see women, hey, Amanda, and some men see women as inferior to them. So when they come back, when they reincarnate, more than likely the roles will be reversed, because that's still not accepting everything and everyone as equal. If you see someone as inferior to you or superior to you, there is no superiority or inferiority. But they coming back. They are coming back. Amanda, I listened to your podcast. I just finished it this morning. I'm not gonna lie. I started it when you first sent it to me, but I wanted to like really be active, not active. I wanted to really be actively listening, and I wanted to be present while I was listening to it. You missed it, but this live was really about breaking out of the cycle of victimization, not feeling like a victim to, oh, okay, put me on the schedule. Not feeling like a victim to your experiences, and not feeling victimized because what your parents did or did not do. And honestly, releasing the attachment. Y'all should follow Amanda. Amanda is also a spiritual life coach and a light worker. I know we said we are moving. Well, you said you are moving past calling yourself a healer. And that kind of reverberated. Did I just make that word up? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up when I get off here. But that kind of reverberated to me in my head when I was in the shower this morning. I was like, she's right, because we're not healing anything. We're just facilitating their own personal healing. So I feel like I'm going to shift from calling myself a spiritual healer into calling myself a light worker as well, because that is truly what we are. We're not healing. You heal yourself. We just assist and facilitate. So thank you for that, Amanda. It's a word. But yeah, moving past feeling like a victim. And sometimes when we move past feeling like a victim, this is something that I also wanted to bring up. Because this is kind of the cycle that I went in. I went from feeling like life sucks, life is so bad, everything bad always happens to me, to feeling like, you know what? No, I changed my mind. I see something different. I want something different. But then before, like in the middle of those two shifts, I felt like I had to be a martyr. I felt like, oh no, I don't want them to go through what I went through. Oh no, I can take it all. I can carry everybody on my back. I can heal the world. I can take everything on as my own. And that shit will deplete you. That's why if you are on a journey, if you're on a spiritual journey, if you're on a healing journey, let it be for you. Don't try to include other people in that, because what that will do, and what it almost did for me, was damn near turn me off from even wanting to do it at all. It's because I wanted more for other people than they truly were ready for, than they wanted for themselves. We can only behave based on the information we have received and accepted, and can behave no other way. Exactly. I don't even know if I had received that information. I think I just told myself like, all right, this is how I gotta do it. But no, that the martyr thing, that does not work. So don't shift. And I really feel like it was still chaos that I was addicted to. I went from feeling like a victim and having that be the story of my life, and that whole thing, oh, my mom left me, oh, I was sexually abused, or my father was abusive, and A, B, and C, X, Y, Z. That I went from that being the story of my life to being to feeling like we don't have to do this and I can do this, and instead of really taking time for myself to heal, to accept what happened, and to release it. All spiritual things are simple. And that's really all I had to fucking do. So if you are on a journey and you feel like you are going in circles, you feel like you aren't going anywhere, I do suggest you reach out to a light worker. I suggest you work with a spiritual life coach. Amanda is a good one. I am a good one. We have a whole network of good ones. But you do not have to do this alone, and you do not have to go around in circles. You don't need to learn the same lesson over and over and over. You don't. Which is why I said no. Everyone is not right where they are supposed to be. When people say that, at first I used to feed into that. I used to be like, yeah, I'm right where I'm supposed to be, right here, right now. We create roadblocks for ourselves, and that is the truth of it. I didn't have to learn the same lesson for 5 years. Like, you don't have to learn the same lesson for 5 years. You can get unstuck. But sometimes it's hard to say, hey, I need help. Be okay with needing help and receiving that help without feeling less than for it. All right. If no one else has any questions, comments, or concerns. Wait, do we have any more questions, comments, or concerns? Amanda, has your head been hurting lately? My head is like crazy. It doesn't matter how much water I drink, how much juice I drink. My head is just on fire. Hit me with it, Miss Southern. Hit me with it. Oh, I can't do that. Give me something else. Give me something else, Amanda. I'm not even gonna lie to you or myself. What else? What else we got other than tomato juice? I'm good for today. Okay, you good. You good. All right. Okay, you're welcome. Amanda, can I call you? Can I call you, girl? Are you available for a Charmaine chit chat? I don't know. They told us that. Girl, you know I'm not finna take no ibuprofen. I'll try the tomato juice before I do the ibuprofen. I'll try that. And some peppermint oil. And yes, okay. Yeah, I just said peppermint oil. Yeah, I'll go get some peppermint oil. All right, y'all. Well, if that it's all for today, I'll see y'all maybe tomorrow, y'all. I'm trying to be more consistent. But yeah, these are the two books that I talked about, Spiritual Manifestation and also From God to You, The Absolute Truth. Those are two good ones to start with. Remember, research everything. Don't believe me. Don't take my word. Don't take his word. Don't take nobody's word. Trust yourself. All right, bye.